This is Candor Talk. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get right into the show. But before we get into the show, don't forget to check out our website, sylviaexpress.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Candor Talk, and I apologize for not being in last week, but I actually was in Vermont. I was actually in one of those ski resorts. It's actually pretty nice over there, but everywhere else outside of that like ski resort area is pretty much like farmland. I'm not really used to that. I'm kind of used to the city, so it was a little interesting experience, but nevertheless, I have said from the beginning that the massive imposter in the White House would not last his entire term, and I think I'm comfortable confirming that now. And even I think people in Congress are starting to realize, I think this guy is not going to last his entire term. I've said that he will be either impeached, he'll resign, or they'll invoke the 25th Amendment. And here is a tweet from Congressman Eric-Swalwell to Trump after Trump celebrated McCabe being fired. This is what he said. "Gloat now, but you will be fired soon. And it's not going to be done cowardly, as you've done to so many who've served you. There's a storm gathering, Mr. President, and it's going to wipe out you and your corrupt organization all the way down to the studs." Woo! Okay, he's not joking around. And let me just tell you something. He's on the Intelligence Committee. And Democrats on the Intelligence Committee have said that they found evidence of collusion, and that's part of the reason why the GOP shut it down. And the Democrats and all the people in Congress, they don't even have 1/20th of what Mueller has. So Trump and them might be celebrating, et cetera, they fired McCabe. But McCabe getting fired right now before his pension vests is really callous, but it will backfire. And I'm going to get into that. People keep saying that Sessions fired Andrew McCabe. That's false. Trump did. However, I have a totally different take on this whole situation than some people do. And you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't be doing this if I felt that my perspective was the same as everyone else. I honestly wouldn't do this. No point. I might as well just let someone else feed that perspective. But Sessions fired McCabe to protect Mueller. That's my belief. McCabe was a sacrificial lamb. Remember the outrage over Comey being fired? The truth is, we wouldn't have Mueller, one of the best prosecutors this country has ever seen, if Comey wasn't fired. McCabe is in the exact same scenario. McCabe has the ability to speak freely now about Trump, and they can't hang his pension over his head to silence him. Sessions knew that. Sessions made a tactical maneuver. He knew that after the right-wing nut media was pushing endlessly for McCabe to be fired, if he didn't fire McCabe, Sessions was toast. Trump would have fired him. He's 2 steps away from Trump being able to fire Mueller. Trump fires Sessions, and Rosenstein is on the chopping block. We lose Rosenstein, then we lose Mueller. Sessions had to pretend to Trump and his sycophants that he was protecting Trump. However, he knew that firing McCabe would hurt Trump. Sessions is dumb, but he's not that dumb. He knew that the firing of McCabe was not in Trump's best interest. And let me tell you why. Because here's a statement from McCabe to Trump, basically. This statement is really to Trump that he wrote after he was fired. Here it is.
He writes, quote, "For the last year and a half, my family and I have been the targets of an unrelenting assault on our reputation and my service to this country. Articles too numerous to count have leveled every sort of false, defamatory, and degrading allegation against U.S. presidents. Tweets have amplified and exacerbated it all. The president called for my firing. The OIG's focus on me and this report became part of an unprecedented effort by the administration, driven by the president himself, to remove me from my position, destroy my reputation, and possibly strip me of a pension that I worked 21 years to earn. The accelerated release of the report and the punitive actions taken in response make sense only when viewed through this lens. This attack on my credibility is one part of a larger effort not just to slander me personally, but to taint the FBI, law enforcement, and intelligence professionals more generally."
Okay, so McCabe went all the way off, okay? But McCabe is actually very, very critical to the Mueller investigation, and here's why.
It appears McCabe took a playbook out of James Comey's work, and when he talked to the president, he wrote it down. But we've also learned that those contemporaneous notes are now in the hands of special counsel Robert Mueller. A person familiar with the matter tells us that McCabe documented his own personal interactions with Trump as well as what Comey relayed to McCabe about his past conversations with the president, a potentially significant way to corroborate Comey's account as Mueller investigates potential obstruction of justice. And in McCabe's eyes, he sees a direct line from the firing of James Comey to his own termination yesterday.
Okay, this is the thing. Do you think that Sessions didn't anticipate that McCabe was going to fight back? Does Sessions actually not know that McCabe has all this evidence that he could actually use against the imposter in the White House? Of course he knows all this stuff. He knew McCabe would blast Trump. He knew it. McCabe did not blast Sessions in that statement. Did you notice that? Why not? Why didn't McCabe blast Jeff Sessions, the person who everybody's attributing the firing to? Why did he not blast Jeff Sessions? If he felt that this was Sessions' fault, why didn't he rebuke Sessions? Because Sessions told McCabe exactly what he was doing. Even though McCabe is upset about it, McCabe understood the bigger picture. Nevertheless, McCabe wasn't just going to go down and let his public reputation be ruined because of some maniac, imposter, madman in the White House. And the thing is, there's no reason for McCabe not to blast Sessions if he did not actually already talk to Sessions. There's no way. Sessions is the one who came out publicly with a statement saying that he was going to fire him. And let me just say this. I feel McCabe will be in a much more prosperous position under this scenario than he would be if he resigned with his pension. The thing is, if he had his pension, they would just be holding his pension over his head, and that would silence him. He probably wouldn't say very much, but look at all this information that he actually has right now, the stuff that the contemporaneous writings that he kept every single time he had spoken with Trump, and the stuff that he can use to corroborate what Comey said. So think about all the stuff that he basically has right now. And the thing is, I think he's going to be fine. I'm confident that he's going to be fine. The problem is that Trump won't be. And that's a problem for Trump, not a problem for us. Trump just unleashed the dragon. Trust me, McCabe is going to get his revenge. And listen, I'm not going to say much about Tillerson because I want to focus my energy on those things that will help facilitate the removing of the massive imposter in the White House. There are numerous scandals daily, but I intend to focus on those things that I think are going to be impactful, those things that will help remove this massive fraud that's in the White House, this squatter that's in the White House. But however, I will say this about Rex Tillerson. He sucked. He was horrific. He was the worst Secretary of State we have ever had. However, the way he was fired on Twitter shows Trump is a callous coward. And let me just say something. Tillerson also did not thank Trump in his statement either. As a matter of fact, some of the stuff he was saying, you could tell he was trying to send a message to Trump like, you suck. I'm telling you, Trump is just adding more and more witnesses for Mueller. And speaking of Mueller, now Trump's lawyers are trying to obstruct the Mueller probe by asking Rosenstein to end the Mueller probe because of because of this alleged Sessions firing McCabe. As I told you, it was Trump who fired McCabe. But here's what Trump's lawyers are trying to do. Here it is.
Breaking news just moments ago, CNN learned that President Trump's attorney is calling for an end to the Russia investigation. This comes just hours after the firing of former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe.
Okay, and let me tell you why they're scared. I'm going to play this clip that's going to explain to you exactly why they're scared now. They have a lot of reasons to be scared, but this is why they're scared now, because it's getting closer to home, much closer to home. Here it is.
Special counsel Robert Mueller subpoenaed the Trump Organization, according to the New York Times. This is the first known instance the special counsel has asked for documents and information from Donald Trump's businesses. The subpoena reportedly was filed in recent weeks and asks for all documents related to Russia and other topics the special counsel is investigating. It will also reportedly examine the use of foreign money in Trump's political activities. The Times notes this subpoena could mean the investigation will last another several months. Mueller appears to be interested in one specific real estate deal. Witnesses have reportedly been asked about a 2015 proposal to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. The Times says in a 2015 email, a Trump business associate bragged about his ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin and claimed building in Moscow could help the Trump presidential campaign.
Okay, so Mueller's basically closing in now on Trump. He actually subpoenaed the Trump Organization, which means he's bowed around it. He's not even worried or concerned about a possible termination, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But here's the thing that Trump and his minions don't understand. Rosenstein isn't going to bow down to political pressure. He's not going to fire Mueller. And Mueller knows that, and that's why Mueller feels comfortable subpoenaing Trump's organization. And what Trump realizes is that once they gain that information from that subpoena, what are we going to find out? Trump already knows that he's a criminal, so there's no point in him, allowing that kind of stuff to want to come out into the public, because everybody else is going to figure out how much of a criminal he is. But anyway, Sessions isn't going to force Rosenstein to fire Mueller. He's not going to do it. Sessions threw them what they perceived as a bone, but it is going to come back and haunt Trump. McCabe is going to be much louder than Comey. He's already been much louder than Comey. Look at his statement after he was terminated. Look at his statement. It was all slamming Trump all the way through. McCabe has also been there longer under Trump than Comey was. McCabe has been in the Trump crime regime longer than Comey. Trump is literally, I'm telling you guys, this guy is begging to be removed from office. He's begging to be indicted. To fire Mueller after numerous indictments, guilty pleas, and cooperators, it's suicidal. Also, Mueller is a master attorney. Do you think he hasn't prepared for this day if it comes? There are some people in government that are corrupt, but I can assure you that once the majority of them take their oath of the office, they care about that oath. We attorneys, we also take that oath. We take an oath as well to become attorneys. Just like doctors and other professions also take oaths. And we aren't just going to go violate it unless humanity or justice is at risk. Even Sessions won't dare do it because he knows that Trump won't get away with his conduct. Trump's presidency can only last 8 years maximum, which it won't even last 4. But justice, she never ends. She never sleeps. Anyone that supported this nonsense today will meet justice tomorrow. That I can assure you. And then there's something else that happened that's very, very interesting. And I'm not getting into it because of the salacious details, but because it's definitely impactful to the Mueller investigation. Here's what it is. Donald Trump Jr.'s wife, Vanessa Trump, decided to file for divorce. And like I said, I don't care about the salaciousness. I care about her significance and helping remove the massive imposter, the massive fraud, the massive squatter in the White House. But here's what they say is actually going on between them. And I'll talk about this afterwards because I think this is very important to what's going on right now. And I think she's very critical to what is about to transpire. And here it is.
Vanessa Trump, the wife of President Trump's eldest son, Donald Jr., has filed for divorce in New York. In a statement provided by the Trump Organization on Thursday, the couple said, quote, "After 12 years of marriage, we have decided to go our separate ways." Vanessa Trump, a former model and actress, married Trump Jr. in 2005. They met at a 2003 fashion show introduced by the senior Trump. They have 5 children.
For too long, our country has ignored its problems.
In recent months, 40-year-old Trump Jr. has become enmeshed in an investigation of possible collusion between his father's presidential campaign and Russia in the 2016 election. President Trump has denied any such collusion. Last month, Vanessa and her mother were taken to a New York hospital after opening mail containing white powder that was later determined to be non-hazardous. The couple is seeking an uncontested divorce to end their 12-year marriage.
Okay, now I said before that I'm not really concerned about the salaciousness. I'm not really concerned about the scandalous details. That's not really why I care. Same thing with Stormy-Daniels. I'm not concerned about the Stormy-Daniels situation because she's a porn star and she cheated with Trump. That's not something that concerns me. What concerns me is that what they did, the payoff of Stormy-Daniels, is criminal. And the reason why Vanessa Trump is important, and let me just break this down, this Vanessa Trump situation. Now, Vanessa Trump filed for divorce the same day it was announced that Mueller had subpoenaed the Trump Organization. Here is my theory. Now, they were already having problems. They were already discussing, a possible separation. But the timing of when she actually filed for divorce, that's pretty interesting. But anyway, she did what any rational, loving, responsible mother of 5 would do. She's protecting her greatest assets, her children. She likely has a prenuptial agreement, but I presume they will negotiate a reasonable settlement and she'll leave with the kids. It's smart to do it now because she knows Don Jr. won't likely push contesting the divorce too far, knowing that her lawyers may tell her to proceed to trial. If they proceed to trial, that forces discovery and prospective public awareness of his finances, etc., right? So Don Jr. can't afford for that to happen when he is a target of Mueller's investigation. Also, part of the Trump con is his false perception of success. His finances become public or we get discovery about his business dealings. This could prove catastrophic for Fredo Jr. Therefore, she timed it to ensure that he doesn't leave her with 5 kids and just some measly child support. He'll likely have to settle. In addition, she avoids a possible asset seizure or forfeiture. She's likely worried that Don Jr. is in serious trouble. I'm certain that she knows a lot. And let me just tell you this. She's fair game for Mueller, and here's why. Don Jr. can invoke spousal privilege, but only under these circumstances. There are 2 different privileges that spouses actually get. There's testimonial privilege and then there's communications privilege, and I'm going to break them down. Testimonial privilege. In criminal cases, one spouse may refuse to testify against his or her defendant spouse as a witness. The witness spouse alone may choose to waive their privilege, regardless of the defendant spouse's objection. So basically, the spouse that's not on trial is the one that holds the privilege to determine whether or not they want to testify against their spouse. So, for example, if Vanessa-Trump says she wants to testify against Donald Trump Jr., Donald Trump Jr. couldn't stop her from testifying except under this circumstance, and here it is. There's a communications privilege. In both criminal and civil cases, communications between spouses during the marriage are privileged. This applies to both words and acts intended to be private communication. The burden is on the opposing party to prove that the particular words and acts were not intended to be a private conversation. So, basically, a private communication. So, basically, Donald Trump Jr. holds communication privilege. So, and marital privilege no longer exists when the spouses are basically parties in an action against each other. So, this divorce proceeding, there's no spousal privilege in there. And so, essentially, Vanessa-Trump is free to testify against Donald Trump Jr., but he can invoke the privilege when it relates to confidential communications. But the privilege is broken once there's another party present. And I'm certain that she's heard a lot. I guarantee you she's heard him and the imposter in the White House discussing a lot of things. And if that stuff happened, none of that is privilege. He could not stop her from testifying against it. And she's walking away from the marriage, which means she's not compelled under some kind of spousal obligation to try to protect him. Furthermore, I've never said a bad word about her. I just haven't. Even though she's married to a Trump, I've never, ever said a bad word about her. She's never given me a reason to criticize her like Laura Trump has. I actually admire her courage. Look, she's getting death threats and even was hospitalized for a suspicious substance being sent to her. There is no valuable or beneficial reason for her to stay. In addition, she's better off leaving now after we heard about these subpoenas. Why stay knowing your husband could be facing an asset seizure? And after all these years, you could walk away with crumbs? She heard subpoenas and she knew the walls were closing in. She's like, look, she probably called her lawyer. Was like, what are you doing? Drop everything you're doing. File it today. Get to the courthouse now and file that thing, damn it, before I fire your ass. She probably went over there quickly and made sure that he fired that. Because she knows the walls are closing in. She got him to agree to an uncontested divorce because she knew that he was powerless to fight her. She'll take her money out and run before there is nothing left. And the reason why you do that is because you think the person's going down in burning flames. I am telling you guys, the imposter in the White House will not last his entire term. Too many things are crumbling around him. There are too many things that are going against him. He's doing too many reckless things. He's gone way too far this time, you guys. I'm telling you, he's gone way too far. Even to the point where even Republicans are starting to say, this is a little too much. There was a Republican today on Twitter who said that Trump should be impeached if he fires Mueller. Look, it's getting to a point now that people are realizing that the imposter in the White House, this massive fraud that we have in the White House, has absolutely no business being the president of the United States. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. right, guys. Thanks for staying around. And I want to talk about something else. A couple great things that are going on right now. Some really important things, but there's something fantastic that happened this week, and that was the victory of conor-lamb. Now, look, people claim that Trump still has this base, like this so, vast and so big base. Where are they? It's time to start to scrutinize all the claims that his base is still with him. He campaigned for Saccone, and Saccone then blew a 20-point swing they had. Literally, we're not talking about years later. We're talking about like a year and a half ago. A 20-point win in that particular district for Trump. And Saccone blew a 20-point lead. The blue wave is fierce, and Trump love is non-existent. conor-lamb won 172 precincts. Trump won in 2016. Rick Saccone won 0 precincts that Hillary Clinton won in 2016. Okay. conor-lamb, and let me just say something else. conor-lamb is a moderate Democrat, not a Republican. Even Republicans, before they lost a 20-point lead, were saying that conor-lamb was going to be a Nancy Pelosi flunky. After the humiliating loss in one of the most safest Republican districts, they morphed conor-lamb into a conservative. Let me just tell you about conor-lamb and what he believes in. Lamb believes in saving health care, background checks for guns. He's personally pro-life, but he's politically pro-choice. He wants to save Medicare and Social Security. He ran against the GOP tax cuts. Tell me when I get to the Republicanism. He's basically a young Tim Kaine who flogged the GOP lead that Trump had of 20% and erased its existence. He was perfect for his district, and that's what we need to be thinking about. People need to be right for the district. You can't just go throw anybody out there to run. They need to be right for that district as well. At the end of the day, he's supposed to be serving his people anyway, the people who elected him. So we need to be electing people who can get elected. We need to be, campaigning for people who can actually get elected. But more importantly, this was a humiliating defeat and a rebuke of Trumpism like we've never seen this entire time. Saccone was Trump 2.0 and lost in an alleged Trump country. Trump tried everything to pull off this win. He fired Tillerson, who he thought would rally up his base, and it backfired. He visits California the day of the election to pretend he's building a wall and wasting people's time with photo ops and his fake prototypes. He implements tariffs and on steel and aluminum. Fredo Jr. even campaigned for Saccone, as did the imposter Ivanka even campaigned for him. And he still got his ass beat. Their value is slim to none. Stop listening to those people who tell you, we're just worried about the Trump base. Trump is still maintaining his base. Really? Where? Where? Because at the end of the day, where are they winning? Where are they winning? So where's his base that's allegedly supposed to be coming out there and fighting for him? They didn't come out in Alabama either. Okay? So where is it? And there's no proof, as I've said a long time ago, that he has this big base. Trump's base is not that strong enough to win elections. As a matter of fact, he's catastrophic. If he runs for you, if he campaigns for you, you are done. You are done. Your political career ends that very day if he campaigns for you. That's a fact. Look at what happened to Saccone. Can we go and list all the other ones that did it, that ran with Trump as well? Look, let me just say you something. Trump won many places because of those people hated Hillary Clinton, not because of their love for Trump. The GOP confused Trump's win as an affirmation of his power. Trump was never popular. Some voted for him based on the why not theory, which is basically, let me just try him. Why not? Can he be much worse than what I already have? Is how those people actually rationalized it. Well, he's promising us the world. Just think about it. Someone comes and tells you, I'm going to make your life so much better. I'm going to make you rich. I'm so rich. I know how to make money. I'm going to make you so rich. I'm going to make you safe. I'm going to build this big wall. I'm going to make sure you have the most perfect health care. I'm going to build up your roads and your schools. Everything's going to be perfect under me. He sold them dreams. You can't say they were all racist or they were all bigoted, because those people who voted for him on the why not theory, those people are tormented every single day about that particular vote. A lot of people voted for him. Millions of people voted for him on the why not theory. Why not just vote for this guy? What do I have to lose? This guy's going to be doing all this stuff for us. Why don't we just let him try it? The guy has done nothing. He's a loser. He is absolutely a loser. And I'm going to show you guys some of these Trump regrets. They're going to be on SylviaExpress.com this week. I'm back in business. Like I said, I'm back from Vermont. But I'm going to show you guys this week some of these Trump regrets. You would just not believe it right now, the way people are feeling about him. But the importance of this conor-lamb thing is not just about the fact that there's this rebuke of Trumpism, but it's that every vote counts. Conor won the slimmest margin known to mankind. He won by like 600 and something votes. And the midterms, they're not looking so good for the GOP. Dems are winning special elections, governorships, Senate seats, local elections, because the Trump name is so toxic. However, you have to vote in the midterms. And you can't just vote. You have to bring everyone you know to the polls. Because when we show up, we win. Our power is in our vote. That's the only way we force politicians to do as we demand. Right? The only way you're going to get them to do it is if they think that they're going to lose an election. They'll do anything to make sure they win an election. The way you get them to do what you want them to do is you got to get out there and vote the people who are going to be scared to lose your vote. Right? You got to get out there. Right? You got to get out there and make them do exactly what it is that we want them to do. That's the reason why we put you in office. And another thing, we also must be loud. Our kids showed us that the other day by forming a national walkout, which was universally successful. And listen to one of the speakers. I think this guy is actually a future president. This is one of the most phenomenal speeches I've heard, and this is from a kid. Here it is.
We refuse to learn in fear. We reject turning our schools into prisons. We will accept nothing less than comprehensive gun control. And if it's what it takes, we will shame our national policymakers into protecting us. Not just in schools, but in churches, movie theaters, on the streets, and in the communities of color, which are disproportionately devastated by the sickness of gun violence. The lawmakers who fail to support us, those who look for every answer to our nation's gun problem, but the guns themselves, will be complicit in every death that comes after. To every politician sitting in Congress, working behind us, you get to decide who lives. And so this is not a partisan issue for us. There's nothing cosmetic about life or death. This is about guns, and it's about our morality as a country. When the commander-in-chief solution to this country's gun problem is more guns, you know we have a moral problem in this White House. When national policymakers value the blood money of the NRA over the lives of children, you know we have a moral problem in the halls of Congress. And when this is doomed to happen again, when in the coming weeks and months, more of my peers will be slaughtered in their own classrooms, when their deaths will be dismissed as collateral, you know we have a moral problem in this country. So let's make one last thing clear. Their right to own an assault rifle does not outweigh our right to live. Yes. The adults have failed us. This is in our hands now. And if any elected official gets in our way, we will vote them out and replace them ourselves. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Oh my God, I even have chills listening to that every time I've heard it. It just gives me chills and my eyes just like swell up. I'm just so proud of these kids. I'm telling you guys, our future is bright. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with me today. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be back because so much is going on. And I'm telling you guys, we're going to get rid of this imposter, this massive fraud that we have in the White House. Also, if you did not check out that MEKKA video that I put in the show last time, and I put the link in there, I'm putting the link in there again. You have to check it out. It's important. It actually shows, I think, an imagery that I think we need to see. Good fathers loving their kids, trying to make sure that their kids are productive members of society if anything happens to them. So I'm putting that link in there again. I want you guys to check it out. He's an artist named MEKKA. You should also check him out on Twitter. It's at MEKKA. Oh my gosh, wonderful people. I'm telling you guys, it feels so much better knowing that the imposter in the White House will not be the president for his entire term. He will either be impeached, they'll invoke the 25th Amendment, or he'll resign. And hopefully one of those things happens very, very soon. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, though, have a good weekend, okay? I will see you guys next week. And if anything major happens this week and I find some time, I'm going to try to do another show too. But anyway, if I don't hear from you guys, if you don't hear from me, excuse me, I'll see you guys next week. And also have a wonderful week as well, not just a good weekend. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.